And to think, before this movie came out, all general audiences could think about when it came to Batman was this. And now, thanks to this one movie, it started the first of 3 waves that led us to Batman's current popularity and status that has been cemented in pop culture. Now, it's been 31 years since this movie released to cinemas in the summer of 1989. It's been over 3 decades, and this movie poses several questions. The most important one is, does it still hold up? Well, with that question, which I will answer at the end of the review, let's get this thing underway. The story must take place in Batman's early years because in this movie, he's seen as an urban legend and is not working with Commissioner Gordon or the GCPD at this point. But he's been around a while. So I don't know how long this Bruce has been at it for. 3rd or 4th year is my guess. There's no way this version is a 2nd year Batman. He's too experienced. The Killing Joke and maybe aspects of Batman Year 1 are adapted in this story. The story is about Batman making his presence known to the Gotham public, both good and bad. It also covers Joker's origins and Batman's first confrontation with not just his greatest adversary of all time, but also his first confrontation with a supervillain. Bruce is a bit of a social recluse and not many people have personally seen Bruce. He's a bit of a mystery even to us. To the audience, he's a bit of a mystery, but that's what kind of gives him his charm. His cover-up is a detached, rich guy that lives at a manor with just his butler. His real persona is the one that fights crime at night and strikes fear into criminals that he crosses paths with. This Bruce Wayne / Batman isn't really too developed, and that's because I think Tim Burton wanted to focus more on the villain of this movie, Joker. This version's identity before becoming Joker is Jack Napier, a high-ranking grunt of a Gotham crime boss that is, until he takes a dip into the vat of chemicals, turning him into the clown prince of crime. He wasn't an ordinary guy down on his luck. He was already somewhat unhinged and a gangster, but as the Joker says in the comics, he'd rather it be multiple choice. So this gets a pass. Joker gets jealous of Batman because he's stealing his spotlight, and he somewhat blames him for what happened at Ace Chemicals. I'm sorry, Access Chemicals. Anyway, this Joker is a lot like the Joker from the comics, having spectacle be the focal point of his schemes, and better yet, has a lot of style wearing his comic attire for most of the film. He's got a lot of dark comedy moments throughout, and to me is the most developed of all the characters. Vicky Vale is a newcomer to town, and is interested in getting a photograph of Batman to prove that he's real. She ends up falling in love with Bruce after one date and can't stop thinking about him. She starts to investigate his background when she wants to get more info on him, and I can't. This girl needs to get her priorities straight. She's there to prove that Batman is real and can only think about a guy who she was with for one date, and that's all she can focus on. If he don't want to see you after that one date, you gotta just let it go and move on. Don't persist. Not saying Bruce didn't like her back, he just had far more important things to do. The one guy that actually wants her attention is Alexander Knox, local Gotham reporter, and while he vies for Vicky's attention and gets turned down repeatedly, he doesn't let that ruin his day. You got balls, Knox. You got balls. But that's all I can give you since your character doesn't really serve the story all that much. You also have Commissioner Gordon and Alfred in the movie, but they don't really do that much or have that much character aside from Alfred caring about Bruce. I would have liked more scenes with these characters. The writing is pretty good and quotable. I just want to say this movie's humor is very dark, and I don't know if it was just me, but I couldn't stop laughing at the dark comedy moments.
Ah, now that's good work. You are my number one guy. Yes, sir.
Hey, bad brain. I mean, I was a kid when I killed your parents.
I now do what other people only dream. I make art until someone dies. See? I am the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist.
If you've read the behind the scenes on this movie, it's a miracle that the script was even as good as it was, with multiple writers coming in to do uncredited rewrites. There's so many times where it could have gone wrong, but it didn't. The casting sparked controversy among comic book fans when Michael Keaton was chosen to portray Bruce Wayne and Batman. Comic fans went into a frenzy in 1988, acting as if it was the modern era of comic book films, where their opinions were known to the masses. They did not approve until they saw the movie, of course. With what Michael Keaton was given, he did a great job, and to me, had it not been for the limitations of 1988, he's the best live-action Batman in my opinion. I wonder if the pressure was on for him, or if he just ignored all the fans that were against his casting.
How do you think Michael Keaton's gonna be as Batman?
Sexy. Very sexy. Oh, he's just a gorgeous guy. He has great legs and everything. Michael Keaton's a great actor, so I'm really excited.
He made his mark on the character with this one scene.
Tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
On the other hand, I don't think anyone was mad about Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. If anything, that's a perfect casting because he nailed the role. Even with the list of demands he made before principal photography started, it seemed like he took the role seriously enough. Sometimes I wonder what the direction was that Burton gave Nicholson between takes. Alright, Jack, I want you to do something crazy each scene you're in. Just go to town with this role. I wouldn't doubt it if this is what happened. The rest of the casting was great too, down to the extras. I think that Tim Burton's visual style is perfect for Batman. I love the practicality of this film because they actually built a Gotham City set. It looks worn and grimy, the extras look tired, and like they just came out of a Gotham slum. Two minor characters that I think deserve some attention are Joker's goons, Lawrence and Bob. I love these two despite the fact that they don't have many scenes or lines. They actually boost scenes just by having them there. The Batmobile. I love the design of this Batmobile. Tim Burton's dark visual flair is much appreciated in my eyes, and he knew when something was important to fans, such as when Batman first appears, Joker's first appearance, the Batmobile and Batwing, and so on. The soundtrack is simply iconic. When I think of Batman, I think of either Danny Elfman's score or Shirley Walker's score. This film has such good compositions that they're still being referenced to this day. There was also a licensed soundtrack done by Prince. Some songs are used in the film, and well, that's how I became a Prince fan. Also, I just have to show this.
But I've got so much on the menu.
The mass marketing was huge. I heard Batman was everywhere back in June 1989. It was a very extensive marketing campaign. Why don't we see that anymore? From an accuracy standpoint, this is a mostly comic accurate adaptation. Batman used a couple of gadgets, the Batmobile, Batwing, knows how to fight and strike fear into criminals. No one is suspicious of Bruce at all because of how much he stays out of the public eye. Joker is unpredictable, entertaining, and is a master schemer. He almost always thinks ahead. Now, while I've listed all these positive accuracy aspects, there is also a lot they did wrong. Batman goes into 2 fights without having a plan. He gets shot both times, and had it not been for Vicky in the second fight, he would have been unmasked by Joker's goons. Batman would never go into a fight unprepared. He's Batman!
Stop.
And while this Batman can fight, he does get his ass kicked in a lot of fights that seem one-sided. Joker isn't supposed to care about anyone but himself, so it's jarring when he falls in love with Vicky Vale. And one of the more questionable decisions for these characters is to have an even deeper conflict between them, when Bruce finds out that Jack Napier killed his parents. No, not Joe Chill like in the comics. Jack Napier killed Thomas and Martha Wayne in this version. Like, there wasn't enough between them before you made Joker the killer of the Waynes. Okay? Also, in the third act, Batman starts killing away when before he wasn't killing at all. Must have been one of those uncredited writers that changed that, or Tim Burton himself. Also, Joker killed Bob. He was so underused. I can only hope that Lawrence got away in one piece. Most of the problems I have with this movie are in the third act. Do I still enjoy it overall? Yes. Is it comic accurate? Yes. Did it stand the test of time? For the most part. Because despite its flaws, it's still a very watchable movie, and I love it even now. I will give Batman 1989 a recommendation. This movie was such a huge landmark for Batman that to this day it's still referenced, like it was in the Arkham games and the Lego Batman movie. And we can't forget, without this movie there would be no Batman the Animated Series, which to me is the best adaptation of the character. Then there's no Mask of Phantasm, which to me is the best Batman movie period, no Batman Beyond, no DCAU. And to me that is a huge blow because the DCAU in general is a huge part of childhood. You don't mess with childhood. With that said, I'm Lino Mars of the MMCA Productions crew, and as Jack's plastic surgeon said, if you gotta go, go with a smile.